Okay, part 3 of my Putting the Past Behind Me series. So, even though old emotions, old feelings of the past, and old anger because of family issues were starting to surface, I was really focusing gung ho on taking care of myself so that I could prepare to live with Jay, who I thought was the love of my life, and who I was going to be, future fiance of and future wife. And so, yeah, this was like, I think August or, well, yeah, it had to be August. It just turned September. I can't think straight. Um, but yeah, all throughout August, I'm thinking, yeah, oh, it was beginning of September that, that I started my better self care plan and such. So, and in fact, I know I did a video blog on my old channel, that day to talk about the self care issues I was having. So, that very day, I think it was the 2nd, Wednesday, September the 2nd, he calls me and he says, I need to talk about something important. He says, I think, he expressed his honest feelings. He says, I'm afraid that with, you know, you dealing with your mental health issues and, he now, he probably did legitimately have his own. I'm not going to say he was completely bullshitting about that. But he said he had his own to work out too, so he was at least owning up. And he says, I think it would be best if we break off the engagement and break off the relationship, just focus on our individual lives, and let's just be friends. It has been my dream since I was 4 years old to get married. That's 28 years that I have been waiting for someone to even hint at the idea of proposing to me. And he broke that. He shattered that dream into so many little pieces. And that very next day, I slept through the whole day, that whole Thursday. I was shocked. I was numb. I think I slept through Thursday because I was up half the night Wednesday with anxiety attacks so severe that it made my body tingle with all the tension, and I could barely move. And if I did move, I was real shaky. I was just, you know, I was gone. And I didn't feel somewhat back again until Friday morning, and that was only somewhat. But I figure if we're gonna make this friend thing work, if he calls, I'm gonna check in with him. He calls me and he says, I'm just checking in to see how you're doing because I'm worried about you. You're on the path to emotionally destroying yourself, and I don't want that to happen. And I said, well, I'm not quite emotionally destroyed. I'm a little bit better than I was, but I'm not, I'm not going to be the same I'm just not the same. And he says, I hope that by later tonight you can smile and laugh and be my goofy old friend again. Later that night, he's expecting 8 years of anticipation and 8 years of history that just came crashing down and shattering all over the place. He's expecting that to just turn off like a switch. And I was having difficulty getting a hold of my very, very best friend, who's always been like a big advising, well, not big advising sister. We're only like, you know, 2 months apart in age. 2 months and some change apart in age, but I mean, you know, I couldn't get a hold of her. We were having communication issues, so I got on Skype and talked with my other friends. And one of which I had to especially apologize to for letting him down about all this J stuff because of being off and on and off and on and off and on and off again. And I told him this whole situation. He says, "You really need to get your power back and make every effort, delete every torrent, delete every video, remove every show from Netflix and Hulu, delete the recordings, delete all the old memories, everything that you can do that will keep you from being tempted to go back to him. Just delete it, permanently delete it." So I did right there with him on Skype with me. And I had said, I would have figured that he would have called right now. I'm waiting for him to call so that I can put an end to this and break contact. He says, "Well, do the woman thing. You call him, you let him know." So I said, "Alright, I'll do you one better. I'll make the call on speakerphone with you listening in on Skype, so that way you know for true that I'm doing this and that I'm really going to end it." And of course, and of course, Jay tries to pour on the last bit of positives. "Oh, I encourage you to get better. I encourage you to move forward. I want to be proud to know you. I want to say that's my best friend, and I want to, and I want to do this, and I want to be there for you, and I want to, and anything that I hurt you with, we can work through it, and I won't hurt you again, and all this stuff, you know." And I'm not believing a single line of it. So then he goes on to say, "Well, you have the power to do whatever you want, whatever you put your mind to." So I said, "You know what? If I've got the power to do anything I put my mind to, then I have the power to tell you goodbye forever." And I hung up on him. Next thing I know, I get a voicemail which says, and I quote, "You have you have broken the trust of your most true friends, me and girl who saw the picture, who I will not name, that I talked about in the other part of my series." Says, you've broken her trust, you've broken my trust, you've betrayed our friendship, you've done all of this." He says, "I hope that you end up with the psych hospital with no one, no true friends to pick you up off the floor." What kind of true friend says something as fucked up as that? You know. And really, the only glue that ever really held us together, all those memories that I kept going back to, all of those things, well, we took and we basically made a mockery out of alternative spirituality. And how I know we made a mockery, we didn't go out there with spirit hunting communication tools or anything like that and search for real spirits. No. We thought, well, what if these creatures from this fantasy series of books could be real? Or what if these characters from that TV show could have spiritual life? And we would use, I mean, I do believe still somewhere in there I have gifts of mediumship and channeling and spirit sensing. I just haven't been able to use them the right way. And we went on and on and on with this arduous 8 year long history of character developments. And it just felt so real to us because we had encompassed ourselves in this bubble of this is the spirit world, this is a world we are guardians of and we are protecting. And we weren't guardians of shit. We were creators of a role playing game at best. I tried to sit down and put it into fantasy fanfiction story form and do like a crossover fanfiction thing, but every time I tried to do it on my own, it didn't feel the same as going on the phone and doing a live action, right there with Jay on the phone at my side. But it was all fake, and it has just about sapped me of all my creative juices. He sapped me of a lot of my energy, and I sapped myself of a lot of it too, for being a sucker to coincide with him. And now I'm wrung out and drained and just everything. I'm done. And I'm putting this out there to let everybody know that it's not just Jay. It could be other guys like him as well, or other women for you guys out there. That if you've been hurt by, somebody like this, or if you know of this Jay of whom I speak, and if he ever hurts any one of you, my viewers out there, you come to me, because we gotta band together against this bastard. We gotta show him that he doesn't have the maturity, he doesn't have the balls, he doesn't have the guts. You know? It came to my realization in my mind that all 8 years of knowing him, he's taught me nothing more than some psychotic, crazy person that he could just use as a pawn in his games. Just, someone to keep them company when nobody else would give them the time of day. And he was someone to keep me company when I had my extreme fears of abandonment and rejection. And what did he do? Half the time of those 8 years, all the off times when we weren't on, he was abandoning and rejecting me. And I'm not gonna stand for that anymore. So I'm putting the past behind me and giving myself this huge reminder to say goodbye forever to you whose initials are JPG and whose nickname is Jay. Goodbye forever to you. And I mean it this time.